Well, with getting third cutting wrapped up, cover crops in the ground, didn't film some of that stuff, just way too busy to grab the camera. But with getting all that wrapped up and finished up, it is now time to start prepping for the next phase of life around here, and that is corn silage harvest. So, you know, we don't have dairy cows anymore, but we have beef cows, and they all consume a lot of corn silage. Not quite as much as a dairy cow, though, I'll tell you that. So the next thing on the agenda is getting everything prepped for corn silage harvest. So the other day we got wagons out, tires aired up, everything greased and ready to go, and went ahead and pressure washed this machine because it was a filthy mess. And got the processor in, so she's ready to go. This machine, years back, had a major hydraulic line failure in the rear back here. It actually controlled the, I don't remember if it was the steering or if it was the spout, but it completely caked the whole underside of this thing in oil. So pressure washed that all out the other day. I'm pretty finicky about how my machinery is kept. I guess some can accuse me of washing things just a little too much, but I don't get to do it as often as I would like. But when I do, I usually take several hours to do one machine because I'm very picky. So anyways, one of the things that's kind of a bone of contention with this machine, it has air conditioning and it works good, but the problem is that thing is just a giant cubicle of glass. And when you sit in that machine, much like the combine, you get to that later part of the afternoon or even the early morning there where the sun is pretty well right in line with you, you just get cooked alive inside of that thing. So this year, after running the combine during wheat harvest and dying alive in that thing, went ahead and decided that we're going to start doing some tinting around here. So I used to do some of this years back when I was younger and had more time before kids and, you know, full-time responsibilities on the farm. I would tint my own vehicles. Well, I have since started to just hire that out. And I have a guy that I like to use, and he kind of nicknamed the tint jobs I do to my truck the Cornfield Mafia, because I murder them things out now. That's been probably a decade ago he started nicknaming them that. I don't know how many people have the Cornfield Mafia tint job these days, but Dad likes to go on about how we're going to tint this thing out, Cornfield Mafia. But we're going to go ahead and get to work on this. I've already done some of this already. Pressure washed this machine yesterday. Went ahead and had Dad clean the inside of the windows this morning. I prepped the film that goes on the right-hand side window here this morning. So now, I guess the next phase of life here, I need to take my cordless shop vac I just brought over here and clean the inside of the cab out around the windows because, well, last thing I want to do is get dirt behind the film I'm about to put on. Have to stare at that for the next, I don't know, 10 years or so whenever I upgrade machines, which might not be ever, I don't know. But anywho, so we're going to do a little shop vacuuming and window tinting today. And I guess I'm going to take you guys along for the rip. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it looks good when I'm done because it's been a very long time since I did any window tinting. Hopefully it looks halfway as decent.
This week's edition is going to be called Cornfield Mafia. Ben has a tint job done on his trucks on the front that's kind of an eyebrow or a visor. And the professional guy that does that, coined the term Cornfield Mafia. So we're going to kind of steal that term. Our Claas chopper, it has an air conditioner. It's supposed to be working to specs, but it's still hot in there. So we're going to do some tinting to see if that would help with the UV radiation and keep the heat down in the cab a little bit. So that's what today's video is about. Yesterday we finished getting it ready for corn. Put the processor in and finished our lubrication adjustments and so forth. And then Ben washed it with a pressure washer. That's the first time we did a deep clean, I guess you would call it, on this since we've owned it. And it looks much different. Pressure washed. We've blown it off before and hosed it off before, but never did a deep clean like he did yesterday. It really looks nice. So this morning we were cleaning windows, and he fit the first piece of tint. I'm new at this. He's done many of these before, trucks mostly. But anyway, so this is all new to me. Anyway, so I'm learning, as maybe some of you will learn also how this works. So anyway, stay tuned and we'll see how this goes. I think the most challenging one is going to probably be the front. with the curves and so forth. Our air conditioner in our combine is kind of marginal too. So we're hoping to, once we get corn silage done, if we got a little breather time, we would like to do some of the windows on the combine too. I think that would help him a lot. It gets hot in that thing in the fall and the summer both. The only time it's really comfortable in the combine is in the corn harvest, when it's cold. He uses a solution of soapy water to keep everything wet, and that way it's slippery and he can move it. And then he has a squeegee that he's using right now, and the squeegee is what takes the air bubbles out and squeegees the extra moisture out too.
So we gotta cut a piece 52 inches long and rip it at 20. It's not what I want to do, but it's unfortunately what I have to do. So this particular roll of tint is 40 inches wide. It's very hard to get tint in such a large width, and 40 is what they sell. So that's what I went with. This is Amazon tint, so we're gonna see how well we like Amazon tint. We might not like it too well, I don't know, but I figured, being as I don't do this for a living, I may as well start with something cheap. So when I screw it up, 52 is here. Anyway, so when I screw it up, at least I'm not out several $100s worth of tint film, because you can spend a small fortune on tint film. So window tint has a protective barrier on the one side that covers the adhesive. This filament right here currently is on the top side of this. As this comes out, the protective layer is on the top side of this filament, away from the center of the roll. And so after you get this cut to size and get everything up there cleaned and prepped and ready to go, you'll have to come down here and separate the two layers, and you'll want to hose that down. You can either use some form of glass cleaner, or in my particular case, I have mixed a small percentage of Dawn dish soap with just normal water from the spigot, and that has seemed to work pretty well. It's pretty hard to get window tint on without getting creases, bubbles, and dirt. And so how you typically do this is you just basically garden hose down the window and garden hose down the film, and that lets you get it on there and be able to work it around a little bit. And then you can use your squeegee to push all that dirt and water out. Now, you don't want to try to push dirt out. You're trying to get your surfaces as clean as possible, but inevitably you will get some piece of dust or dirt. It doesn't matter who you are. I mean, the guy I've had do my work on my trucks, that guy has been doing it a very long time, and he does very nice work. I am not his level of expertise by any means, but we're gonna go ahead and get this cut at 20 inches. That window is 52 inches wide, 20 inches tall. So we're gonna cut this at 20 inches and get her put up there and ready to stick on. When you start a new roll, you have a nice nice stick on it to separate the films, but after you use the starting edge of the roll, well, you lose that film, so I use masking tape. The main reason I do so is it doesn't leave a residue, and it doesn't matter so much on the clear cellophane side, but on the film side, that you don't want any residue left on. It's kind of imperative. And it doesn't help when you have water all over everything. If you're a good boy and you use a nice sharp knife and you don't leave jagged edges, typically it goes better. But I did not use a nice sharp knife, and now I've got a mess. Them little buggers. Well, I got all the side windows done, the rear window done. Now the next thing we got to figure out is how to do this front. So, I got to figure out how this unplugs and undo this so I can lay my tint over this, and I'll have to trim out around that. And it's going to be a bit of a job, but it's starting to look nice. It really darkens up when you close the cab. You can see no tint versus tint. It's a cloudy day, so you don't really notice it, but if this was really bright outside, you'd really know. Didn't turn out half bad. I hope we can finish without me making a major screw up, but now I gotta figure out how to get that undone. Well, we're nearing the end of me fighting with this thing. This windshield is a pain in the ass. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If you're a tint guy, I hand it to you on curved glass, because they are a royal pain in the hind end. I was gonna do the whole windshield, but that motor right there causes me nothing but grief. So it's just got a heck of an eyebrow. Oh well, I guess then Dad can see the header when it's getting dark out. It's hot. I think I have sweated out about 6 gallons of water. I've drained my water jug 3 times. I'm ready to wrap it up. So we're gonna put things away, and I think call it. What can I say? I think it looks pretty good. It ain't perfect by any means, but for chopping corn in a 1995 machine, I think it's good enough. So we're gonna send it. Well, that concludes today's tinting lessons, I guess. Learned a few things. Curved glass sucks. Pickup ain't bad. I mean, it is curved, don't get me wrong. That chopper cab, you can look at that thing, you can see it's a 90-degree bend on each end. And the glass, the bend at the top, lean forward so it's longer versus when you get to the bottom. So it's a challenge, to say the least. For not doing any tint work professionally in my life and just messing with that crap 10 years ago. Guess it turned out all right. Still think it looks like shit, but that's me. I'm my biggest critic. I have a expectation level way up there. I don't know anybody who can live up to it. I definitely don't. Well, that's good. Day one, I already have this shit going on. Oh, goody. Guess I'm making a phone call. Man alive. Great. I got a problem. Spindle snapped off. Rear tandem front. Yep. Thankfully I'm just off the road, but just. Well, silage season 2024 is off to a great start. That's load number 2. And front spindle for the rear tandem on the right hand side just sheared off. So guess I'm going to get a truck, and I guess most of my day is already shot.